Hey, it's Greg on here with maritimegardening.com, and I'm going to do another trellis build today. I've been doing a series on simple, easy, low-cost trellis designs, and this is one of them. The last two ones I've done, I've just used the only thing that really needed to be bought other than basic tools, and all of them can be made with just one tool if that's all you had, an axe or a knife or a saw. This one is going to involve using chicken wire, right? And chicken wire is pretty inexpensive. You can get a 25-foot roll. The cheapest kind has this wide, I think this is 2-inch mesh, so each of the holes is about 2 inches. That's the cheapest kind of chicken wire you can buy. You can get it galvanized, and I think for about 10 bucks you can get a 25-foot roll, and it lasts multiple years, especially if you sort of roll it up and put it away. So I mean, I used this last year. There's actually dried beans or peas. There's actually peas in here. There's a pea seed there. Anyway, so I used this last year to grow peas, and I'm going to use it for the same thing this year. I just rolled it around a stick to store, so you can use it for multiple years, and it lasts a long time, and it's very quick to put up. And it's the sort of material you can just buy and throw in the back of your car, even take it home on the bus if you haven't got a car and you're living somewhere close to a if that's your situation. So all you need is some wire remesh. You may need pliers, depends on the state of it. And when you not wire remesh, sorry, chicken wire. And when you buy this stuff, when it comes in the way, depending on what brand you buy, I suppose, but I find it's a bit of a mess when you first buy it, but you just work at it and you can eventually unravel it. I mean, it's another video in itself. Anyway, so you might need pliers to deal with it. Certainly if you're reusing it like this, you don't. A knife is handy for certain things. All you need to actually, you need a couple stakes, of course, like the height that you think that the trellis is going to need to be. I'm going to make this one about 4 feet high. And you just need little sticks like this, okay? You'd be surprised how quickly this goes together, just using little sticks like this. Almost like, there's a name for that, the thing you'd put through almost like, what's that called? The things that existed before buttons. There's a name for that, I just can't remember the name of it. Anyway, there's people out there that know exactly what I'm talking about, and if it comes to mind, I'll put the name up on the screen. But anyway, you're mimicking that technique by how you put this, attach these, all the pieces together. It goes really quick and it's really easy. And I found it works really good with this. And if your garden's got wood chips all over the place, then you're going to find little sticks everywhere. Literally, these are just things that pick up off the ground and use. When you want to dismantle the trellis, you literally just pull the pins out, it falls apart. But these are strong enough to hold up the whole season, no problem. So let's get to work here and let me show you how this goes together. Okay, so this garden is about 8 feet from end to end. The garden's mostly potatoes, but down the middle I've got some peas. I find peas and potatoes grow really well together because the potatoes only go about 1.5 feet or 2 feet high, and the peas will go higher than that. So they work out really well together, and it's a way to get two things out of the same space. The potatoes have deep roots, the peas have shallow roots, or beans, and they just seems to be a good way to make use of space, get two things out of the same space. These are just some sticks I got kicking around. I try to drive it in about 1 foot or 16 inches, whatever it'll take. That's in. I'm into a rock there. Here we go. If you're not a heavy person, like I'm over 200, I'm about 210, 215 pounds, so I can just use my weight to drive these things in. I'm 6'4". If you don't have that advantage, you might call it an advantage. If you haven't got that, you might need help with someone, or you might have to use starter poles that you can pound. These poles are relatively flimsy. I mean, they're maybe 3/4 of an inch at the top, so you couldn't really pound them. They wouldn't work that way. So if you're going to be pounding, you need poles that are probably, I'd say 2 inches in diameter, 1.5 inches at the narrowest. Otherwise, when you hit them, they'll just bend and break. All right, so just thought I'd mention that because I'm always just driving stuff in. I can, you know, with my own weight and the kind of soil I got here, I can get them down about 12 to 16 inches. All right, so we got our verticals. Now all that's left is to stretch this out. It's chicken wire. Seems to be attached to this. That's okay, it's not a big deal. Actually, that worked out fine, that's fine. I'll show you how easy this is going to be. Just to give you a sense of what I'm dealing with here, the mesh is all already attached to the stick. I'm not going to bother on attaching it. I'm just going to drive this stick into the main one over there and tie them together in a very simple way. It's just a lot easier. So let me show you how I'm going to do that. That way when I'm done, all I got to do is detach the whole thing and roll this up again. Alright, so I got the stick this is already attached to. Trying to do this quick, right? Flies are bad. Now I got this stuff I got to do. It's already attached. And you just loop it around the main stick so it's on this side facing the other end. Drive it in. Make sure it's slightly adjustable. This will slide down. Now you can adjust it to where you want it. I want it about, 4 or 5 inches off the ground. There we go, that's about right there. Okay. Alright, so that's good, that's right where I want it. So now I'm just going to grab a couple of these, whatever sticks I can find lying around. Just weave them through, like that. Okay. They won't go anywhere. Just weave them through like that. They'll stick in there. They'll stay in place. That won't allow that to come apart. This one needs to be a bit longer. You want to stretch it as high as you can get it to get as much, real estate out of it as you possibly can. Longer the better. Yeah, that's good. Now all we got to do is go to the other side. Alright, so you can see this it's longer than it needs to be. But it's not a problem, we'll just wrap it around. Alright, so we stretch it this way as much as we can. Get it relatively tight. And bring it over like that. Always get some of these little sticks and weave them through. Hold it in place. Just like that. Anything will do. Anything you can find. If something falls out, it's not a big deal. The more you weave it, the more likely it's going to stay in. Alright, so that's good. Now I should have something over here because it looks like it's a bit flimsy. Now on second thought, I think it's a little bit flimsy. So I'm going to actually put a piece in the middle just to give it a bit more strength. And you can change your mind. You're allowed to be wrong when you're doing gardening, even if you're making it on film. I don't know why I thought 8 feet would be fine. Anyway, let's just adjust. So I need one more stick. I haven't got my axe here, so I'm just using it. This is literally an old steak knife. It's stainless steel, so I just leave it out in the garden, so I've always got something to use out here. No point in using a good knife in your garden. It's reasonably sharp. But just to show that you don't need anything special. You know, sometimes I have axes or nice saws or you know, extra good knives out here. Anything will do. That's good. Alright. Alright, I don't like stepping on my soil, but I don't really have a choice here. So I eyeball that, it's about the middle. Drive her in. I like to turn it while I push, tends to go in better that way. Alright, that's good. That's good. Okay, so I'll use this stick, sort of weave these on. Nothing fancy here. There we go. Stretch that a bit. I think that's good. This one came loose. Not a big deal. One more thing, usually when you unravel these, you're going to have all kinds of extra stuff like this. So you can use that. It usually just, you know, when you buy the roll of chicken wire, it's usually fastened together with a, I don't know, 16-foot length of very bendy wire. So you can use that, right? You got your pliers. It's good at either end, at the top, to just do one fastening on the post, just to keep it from falling down once there's weight on it, right, like that. Just like a twist tie, right? One more handy thing to do is to fashion little hooks. You take these, any sort of stake, you know, and any sort of, you know, pointy stick, short pointy stick you've got, and just put what they call a 7-notch in it. So you take your knife and you give it a little whack, like that, and then using your thumb you push the blade forward, like that. And what you get is a little notch like that, right? Just gonna clean that up a little bit so it's you probably want, for a trellis this size, you probably want about 3 of those. You'll see where I'm going with this in a second. Alright, so there's one. I'll just do 2 more here. Alright, so just to show you what I was talking about, using up the stake here, you pound this down, you hook the wire to it, and it'll pull the wire down. Like that, see? I'll put the other 2. The whole point of this is just to help the peas find it and grab it. Just like that. One more in the middle here. Pop that out. There. All right, so doesn't get much easier than that. And then when you need another tier, you just add another tier up top if you need it. All right, so it's all you got to do if you got some of that chicken wire and it'll last multiple years. All right, so that's all you got to do using chicken wire and a couple sticks and a rock and a knife. Very simple. If you can source out some chicken wire, it's relatively inexpensive to buy, and you can use it for multiple years. And as you can tell, it's a lot quicker than stringing jute around. I like the jute because it's really easy to dismantle, and it really doesn't take that long either. But I mean, you just use whatever you've got. I'm running out of sticks and different materials, and I wanted to do a super quick one tonight. I've got a number of gardens I have to build trellises on. I'm going away for a couple weeks. Really soon, actually, in a matter of days. So everything like that has to be done before I go, because all the things that climb are going to need something to climb while I'm gone. So that's why I'm churning out these trellis videos quickly. It's also just the time of year that viewers, depending on where you're located, some people are way ahead of me. But anyway, it's also a good time of year to be doing videos on that, because it's on people's mind. Anyway, hope you found that interesting, gave you some good ideas, showed you another cheap, easy, quick way to build a trellis that'll last a season, and using a material that can be used multiple seasons, and it'll stand up to, we get pretty intense winds here and pretty harsh conditions. Actually, last night it just was incredible. A north wind whipped up. It got down to 6 degrees Celsius here, and boy, it felt like it was going to snow. And actually, I think in parts of the province it actually did snow. Certainly, I think in Newfoundland it snowed. Anyway, I hope you found that interesting. Gave you some good ideas. Another cheap, quick, easy way to build a trellis using materials that are relatively easy to source. And chicken wire is cheap and easy to get. And even if you don't own a car, you can get that home from a hardware store. I've even seen chicken wire at dollar stores for sale. So, I mean, you don't have to be that sophisticated or hardcore to get a hold of that sort of material. It's an easy way to get it done. So I hope you found that interesting, gave you some good ideas. Gave you some ideas for your garden this year if you hadn't thought of that before, or if you're new to this, or if this is your first year growing a vining plant. And until next time, get out there, get at it, have fun in your garden. Thanks for watching.